Hello friends, A Quick Flicks is with you. Today I'm going to talk about the movie Parallel World.
Welcome to my world.
In 1945 year, when the Second World War ended, American soldiers returned to their homeland. Along with other military personnel, Frank Harris also flew in. His mother was waiting for him at the airfield. She was happy with the return of her son, but soon they were destined to part again, and this time forever. Frank bought a motorcycle and offered Mom a ride. When they were driving along a deserted road, a drunk driver and his girlfriend suddenly turned onto it. There was an accident in which Frank's mom died. At the same moment, in a parallel drawn world, a brilliant scientist was testing an artifact capable of creating windows into the real world. Thanks to his experiment, Frank, mourning his mother on the side of the road, moves to the cartoons. They explain to him what kind of place it is and offer to stay. His military skills can be useful here. Many years later, an artist who draws comics about a parallel world found himself behind bars. He caught his wife with her lover and killed the latter, but even when he was in prison, he did not stop painting. In 1992, Jack Deebs began to hear one of his characters. Her name was Holli Would, and she called Jack, invited him to her. One day, when Deebs was drawing Holli sitting in a cell, something unusual happened. Some force transported him to the painted world where he met Holli.
She danced for him, but then Jack returned to the camera again, thinking that he had imagined it all. The penetration of a living person into their universe was reported to Frank Harris. He worked for the police for many years and is listed as a detective. One of his duties is to protect the parallel world from invasion from the outside. In addition, he should not allow the Toons to escape into reality if they find a way to do it. Therefore, Frank goes to Holli because it was Jack Deebs who visited her. After learning that Holli is popular with real people, a cool guy named Sparks began to get jealous. He would have been happy to discourage all suitors from this beauty. Sparks was in love with her himself, though he didn't show it. When Frank came to Holli, she told him that she was not involved in the penetration of a person into the painted world, but she also made it clear that she dreams of the real world. She heard that one of the Toons escaped there and now lives among people. He even became the owner of a hotel in Las Vegas. Holli insanely wants to become a real flesh and blood and move to live in Vegas. But for this, she needs to sleep with a man, and the only living man in this place is Frank, and he already has a girlfriend. Holli hopes that one day Jack will get to her for a long enough time that they can make love, and then it will be freed from the painted shell and become real. At the same time, Jack Deebs was released from prison.
He came to his house and took up the drawings again, but then Holli called him to her, and he was transported to a parallel world. Painted characters were playing dice on the side of the road. The scammers beat the cute bunny, and she rushed to the police to complain about them while Jack tried to realize what was happening. Holli found him and explained that all this was really happening. Then the cops appeared, who were called by Bunny, and Wood had to take her boyfriend away from here. At that moment, Frank was dating his girlfriend Lynette. She works as a waitress in one of the establishments of the parallel world. These two lead a chaste lifestyle because they're strictly forbidden to make love. However, Frank is not allowed to spend the evening with his beloved by his partner Niles. He reports that Jack has penetrated the painted reality again and is dating Holli. The partners go to the club where Wood brought her boyfriend, and Frank searches Deebs. He finds a pen and explains that in a parallel world it can become a formidable weapon. Frank also warns that sleeping with cartoons is strictly forbidden. In addition, Harris makes it clear that this world existed long before Jack started drawing it. Shortly after, Deebs returns to reality, and Frank goes to Lynette. She offers to spend the night together but without intimacy, and Harris almost agrees, but then Niles arrives again and tells about the violation. The two go to Holli's to prevent a crime. She once again summoned Jack to her.
When he found himself among the Toons, Holli's henchmen took him to her mistress. At that moment, Frank and Nails snuck into her apartment to check if there was a person there. Not finding Jack, Harris warned the beauty to stay away from Deebs, otherwise he will shut down her business. When Frank left Holli's place, Jack was brought there. The girl seduced him and Deebs slept with her. After that, Wood turned into a human. She was happy because now she will be able to get into the real world and realize all her dreams. After finishing his shift, Frank went to his girlfriend and Nails went to the station. Sparks called him. He heard rumors that Holli and Jack slept together, and now Wood has become a human. Sparks wanted revenge on these two, so he called the cops. Nails had difficulty getting through to Harris, but realizing that he was busy, decided to settle the matter himself. He went to Holli Wood's house to arrest her. Meanwhile, the beauty stole Jack's pen and went outside to deal with Nails. She pricked him and the Toon disappeared inside the pen. Then she returned to Deebs and offered to leave the place. They embraced and an unknown force transported them to Jack's apartment. A neighbor heard a noise from moving between worlds and wanted to know if everything was okay. She took her daughter with her. After making sure that Jack was safe, they left.
Meanwhile, Frank Harris met with Sparks and found out that Holli is now a human. He also found out that she destroyed Niles and moved into the real world. That meant he had to follow her. But Frank was in no hurry to return to reality. For him, it is full of pain and memories of his mother's death. Despite this, he decides to go because otherwise both the real and the painted worlds will disappear in universal chaos. Lynette didn't want him to go. She believed that Frank would stay in reality, forget her. However, she had to give in because saving a parallel world is more important. At the same time, Jack brought Holli to a club where there were a lot of men. Seeing such a variety, Wood decided to seduce them all. She ran on stage to sing, and Deebs was thrown out of the club so not to interfere. At the exit, Jack resisted and began to flicker, then turning into a cartoon, then becoming himself. Holli was also flickering at the same time. The audience thought it was part of the show. Realizing that something abnormal was going on, she ran off the stage and went to look for Deebs. When she met Jack, she asked him to take her to the casino, which according to rumors is owned by a cartoon. There's an artifact hidden there that can heal her. Holli believes that this thing will make her real forever. On the way, he and Jack quarrel and Wood throws him out of the car. Deebs is going home. Here he meets Frank, who has recently been transported from a parallel world. Noticing his transition, the neighbor's daughter runs to visit Jack and finds out that these two are trying to save the world from destruction.
She agrees to take her mother's car and take Deebs and Harris to the casino. Together, they will be able to stop Holli and prevent the destruction of the real world. On the way, the two tell the girl about the painted universe, where you can be transported, and she believes them. Holli gets to the casino, but can't find an artifact that can make her 100% human. She is kicked out into the street, where she meets the scientist who transferred Frank to the cartoon world. He created a tunnel from a parallel universe to reality, but realizing that this could destroy both worlds, he sealed it. Besides the scientist, Frank knows about the tunnel. If you take out the artifact installed on the casino roof, the two universes will begin to merge, and this will destroy them. But Holli doesn't listen to the old man's warnings. She pokes him with Jack's pen, and he falls apart. Then she goes to the roof of the building. At this moment, Frank and Jack drive up to the casino. Harris leaves Deebs and his neighbor to restore the scientist, and he runs after Holli. She manages to get into one of the hotel rooms on the top floor, from where she gets out on the balcony and tries to climb onto the roof. At this moment, she drops the Deebs handle and it breaks in half. Frank goes after Holli. The girl pretends to be scared, and Harris climbs up to her to help her down. But Holli pushes him off when she starts flickering again. Frank falls and falls to his death. Realizing that only he can stop the former cartoon, Jack turns his hands into painted ones and climbs to the roof of the building.
Then he catches up with Holli, but it's too late. She had already taken out the artifact, opening a passage between the worlds. Thousands of creatures poured out of the painted universe into reality, flooding everything around them. Holli became a cartoon again. Jack also turned into a painted hero. Random people in Vegas also began to change their appearance, but the painted Deebs managed to close the tunnel between the worlds, and all the cartoon characters were sucked into their universe. At that moment, nails appeared from Jack's broken pen. It turned out that he was just sitting inside all this time. Seeing the corpse of his partner, Nails decided to take him with him to the painted world. Lynette found him there. When she found out that Frank was killed by a cartoon, she was delighted. In this case, the person does not die but becomes painted.
And indeed, Harris was transformed. He came to life as a comic book character. Now he and Lynette can be together. Frank didn't want to leave the parallel world before, and now he has every right to stay here forever. Jack and the Painted World also got on the pages of comics. He decided to stay with Holli, and he had big plans. Deebs was going to continue drawing, and he also wants Holli to give birth to his children, and he will fight evil in this world.